This is the new Mk8 Volkswagen Golf. Now in Malaysia, in our line guys, built in Pekan, Pahang. Does that mean that we'll get cheaper prices? We're not too sure just yet. But with a 1.4 litre TSI under the bonnet and an 8-speed automatic torque converter gearbox in the middle, there's certainly a lot to talk about. So let's take a quick walk around the new Mk8 and see everything that we need to know about Volkswagen's new C-segment hatchback. Now, the styling of the new Mk8 is certainly evolutionary, as is usually the way with Volkswagen. So you get IQ lights front and rear, and because this is an R-line model, you get a very aggressively designed front bumper with a lot of contrasting in piano black. You also get the new Volkswagen logo, which is now 2D instead of 3D like it used to. You also get this very sweet color. Now, I don't know what color this is exactly, but I'm going to call it primer gray because it looks like paint primer, and it looks good. You also get a set of rather demure alloy wheels, which are not meant to be too exciting because after all, this is just the R-Line, not the GTI. You can check out the GTI in our other video. You do get, however, R badging on the fenders. Now, going down the side, you still get door-mounted wing mirrors, of course, again, to aid aerodynamics. And like I said, down the side, it's all very predictable. You do get a little bit of black down here, again, as part of the R-Line pack. And at the rear, you get a very subtle spoiler and, like I said, IQ lights at the back. Now, you get some fake exhaust exits down there, but if I open this, you do still get the same practicality that you would expect from a Volkswagen Golf. This may seem to us like a sporty car, but ultimately this is still a family hatchback, and so there's plenty of space back here for a family's worth of flotsam. Now, the big changes with the Mk8 Golf is actually inside, so let's go and talk about that once we have the opportunity to do so. Now, the interior of the new Mk8 Golf is certainly a smart place to be. You have a 30-color ambient lighting system. You get these R-line seats with a little bit of microfiber and a little bit of fabric and no power adjustment on either side, which is a bit weird. But admittedly, this interior certainly feels very smartened up. You actually get 3-zone climate control in here. Front passenger, for driver, as well as for the rear, which is kind of cool. You also get a new 8-speed automatic gearbox in the middle, which is now controlled via this tiny little joysticky type thing to change the gears, which is a little funny looking, but the operation certainly feels like a Volkswagen, very nice, very tactile. Now, tactility is not something you'll be able to enjoy much of in here, because unfortunately, most of the buttons have now become touch. So changing the temperature, for example, now uses the new MIB infotainment system, along with changing the volume, for example, or the direction of the air. Basically, every damn thing now goes through this infotainment system, but mercifully, it is a very nice system to use. It swipes very quickly and the screen is very large and very sharp. You also get a new digital instrument cluster, which is also very large and very sharp. And you also get, like I said, capacitive buttons on the steering wheel, which are likely going to be very confusing to use. And you also get capacitive buttons for the lights, because that's what we've always wanted from a car. However, the buttons for the door locks and the windows and all that still mercifully buttons. You also don't get a physical handbrake, although you haven't had that in a Golf for a little while, but that does mean that this center console is nice and practical. You get a couple of cup holders, you get a nice little place to put your phone, you get a couple of USB-C ports here and a couple of USB-C ports at the rear. Now, you also get this new steering wheel, like I mentioned earlier, with its capacitive buttons, but because this is an R-Line, it's a little bit meatier. There's some perforation on the side, and you get little R badge, as well as the new Volkswagen logo. Now, in terms of active safety, we have no specifications to give you at the moment, so you'll just have to wait for this car to launch, like the rest of us. But in terms of prices, we also can't tell you that, because this car hasn't been launched yet, and those things will only be finalized when the car is launched. So we hope that this little walk around has been insightful for you. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icon so you're notified every time we make a new upload. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All the links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care, stay safe. Jangan bodoh.